one story that we kind of talked about. It came out last week, but we talked about it kind of on the side in our group chat here. Red Bull's team principal, team owner, whatever you want to call him, Helmut Marko, is saying that the differential issue that Max Verstappen was complaining about during the start of the race at Bahrain cost him 0.3 of a second per lap. 0.3 of a second.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that it's something that Red Bull as a team struggled with all weekend, and that it could have made a difference as far as their results at the end of the weekend. Ruben, what do you think of Dr. Marko's claims?
We'll see next weekend if the freaking pace is back up, because I don't think so. I think Paris showed that he made a lot of time. Is that just an excuse for not just being able to pass Ham? Definitely, I don't know. Like, it's weird that he said that. Wait, I don't know. They should have just come out right after the race with it.
Well, I think it's true.
Go ahead.
I think it's true. All right, so let's not even look at the first race. Let's look at last year when Max was able to get ahead of the Mercedes.
Mm-hmm. He will pull away.
Yeah. The issue that we have now in F1 is when a car gets ahead, they're able to pull these crazy gaps in front.
Because they got the clean air.
Yeah, because they have the clean air. And then the other issue is that when a car is right behind the car, they can't really follow well, which is what they're trying to mitigate
with the changes
upcoming next year. So when Max could get ahead of the Mercedes, he would pull away. There's not much of a difference in the arrow. Obviously, the floor makes a difference, and the floor changes impacted more Mercedes than Red Bull. So if it impacted more Mercedes, that means that the Mercedes could be falling back, and Red Bull, on top of that, they have an advantage with the floor, and on top of that, they have an advantage that they're ahead. They were ahead. They could have pulled in further out. Now, Max was complaining since the beginning of the race, and it was a complaint that they had throughout the entire weekend, that they had an issue with the differential, meaning the way the wheel rotates around the corner. They couldn't get that right. So it could slow you down. And if you notice, for example, for any new fans coming in, if you ever see an onboard camera, you see the driver, they're messing around with the buttons, which is amazing to me that they can do that at 180 miles per hour. Usually what they're changing on top are the differential settings, meaning that the wheel spin that they get throughout the corners. They change it before, they change it during, and they change it after the corner, depending on what corner is coming up. So,
and you add on top of that also the mode that you want the car to be in.
So
7 type of.
So all of this stuff.
Drink coffee while driving, I spill it all over me.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
So all of this stuff is happening within milliseconds, and if you have any little thing go wrong, yes, it could affect your lap time. And if the fact that Max was ahead for most of that race, and he couldn't pull away, which he's supposed to pull away because obviously he has a better package, and you can't, and those cars can't really follow too well. And you look at the cars before, and Mercedes has done this the past 7 years. They get ahead, they're meant to qualify ahead, they get ahead, and they just fly away, right? And then anytime they get behind the car, they can't. It's hard for them to get past. You have to be an exceptional driver, a la Lewis Hamilton. And you look at Bottas, who can't overtake because he's having trouble with it. But Hamilton is just a way better driver. I believe it. I think that's true. I think that does make a difference.
What do you think, Wells?
What I don't know. I think he's playing up exactly what happened. I'm going to read the quote here. In Sector 1, we lost drastically up to 0.3 per lap. The same was the case with Perez, by the way. Not only was there less grip, but the rear wheels were spinning and the tires were getting hot. So it's like, okay, yeah, we had this problem. And not only did it happen with Max, it happened with Sergio Perez, and we were the best car, but then all this other stuff happened. Yeah, it's like, I would have been, king of the world if all this crap didn't happen. It's like, dude, come on. Like, if you're really the best car on track, prove it. No matter, you say you have the best car on track. You say you currently have the best driver on the track. prove it. And then don't just be like, oh yeah, and Paris too. Like it affected us in all aspects. No, dude. Like,
so
come
what
on.
you're saying is just an excuse instead of actual.
I think it's just an excuse.
It's an excuse and not a reason.
It's an excuse and not a reason. And it's like, oh, it's like Ruben said, it was way after the fact that this came out. It didn't come out immediately after the race. It wasn't like a few days, but beyond that, as you mentioned, there were some aerodynamic changes to the cars. Yes, maybe he could have gotten a bit of a gap with Hamilton, but maybe that the design intent of the changes to the aero prevented such a huge gap and prevented the dirty air from being such a major problem for a car following. But here's where I will digress and maybe cede a little bit. Okay, he lost some time due to the differential. Whatever the amount of time, it couldn't have been 3/10 of that. That's ridiculous.
Maybe
right?
that's a bit of an exaggeration. I agree with you there.
Right?
It's
That's
a bit of an
kinda crazy.
exaggeration, but he did lose time.
But beyond that, so add those two things together, right? The differential issue and then Hamilton 29 times exceeding the track limits. What does that mean for us going forward? That means that Red Bull's car is extremely, extremely competitive and that hopefully if their reliability is on point, if Max's head stays on straight, if Sergio Perez's head stays on straight, that will be okay. Also, if Christian Horner's head stays on straight and they make the right strategy calls, we'll have a great season. But they're up against a machine in Mercedes that has done it right and continues to do it right and puts pressure on other teams to stay crap like this. Like, oh, we're the best car, but all this stuff happened that
So what do you
didn't know about.
So what do you think? I think it was Hamilton or Toto
I think
Wolff that
Mercedes
said-
doesn't show no.
They said that in order for them, and this is coming from the Mercedes team, in order for them, and I saw this headline, in order for them to beat Red Bull, they have to be near perfect. That's how much they think. Is this all hogwash on Mercedes then?
We've heard this, I feel like, every year from Toto
Exactly.
Wolff. We've heard this every single year. So
he said the perfect one to play.
yeah, to play down his abilities. So
Exactly.
it's like Eeyore and freaking Winnie the Pooh.
What is that?
Oh man. Oh, woe is me, the cloud over my head, and then they overproduced. They did not have the best. They did not have the best car on track in what was that 2018 or 19 when Ferrari just was so good with their what we call the cheating engine.
I think you're giving Ferrari too much credit that year. But whatever. Go ahead.
Vettel was ahead in the standings.
You're right. But the team is not. I mean, I think that championship was won on the strength of the team, and obviously the Ferrari team is not as strong as the Mercedes team. Doesn't matter if you have a good car.
That's what I think Mercedes does have. Honestly, they have the team. Like you were saying,
And they have the
I
capability.
disagree, dude. They were so competitive up until Vettel spun out in what was it? No, Hockenheim, in his own home race, and then it was over. Up until that point, it was nip and tuck the whole way.
Yeah, and the team collapsed after that. But
But that's the point.
Mhm.
Mercedes is not going to collapse. No matter how good that Red Bull car is, they have to continue. They can't pull the Ferrari from that year. They can't be mentally weak. They have to continue to strive to do better. Whereas Mercedes, they won't fold in on themselves. They'll just continue to. It's like the T1000 running after the car when Terminator's trying to escape, and he's like running. Yeah, right. And then like the car, the arms turn into the hooks.
yes, yeah. That's a great movie scene and a great Simpsons scene.
Unless
on top of it.
unless Drive to Survive is recording Mercedes. That's when everything goes.
That's
Yeah,
they're not allowing them back in.
At their home
At
race.
their home race. But yeah, listen. It remains to be seen because there's only one race. From what it looks like, and again, it's only one race. It seems that throughout the hybrid era, Red Bull is poised to give Mercedes their best challenge. Previously, it was Ferrari in 2017 and 2018.
After one race.
But this is only one race.
Yes.
It seems that Red Bull is poised to give Mercedes their best challenge to the championship. But it's like Wellington said, you got to stay poised, you got to stay level-headed, and you got to execute.
That's the thing that they have to do. The most.
Excellence of execution, though.
Execute. I think Mercedes does that flawless.
If you
It happens.
Not just Mercedes, but also Hamilton.
if you're gonna
Yes.
beat
Excellence of execution.
if you're gonna beat Mercedes, you have to be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. That's the kind of execution that you have to have in order to beat this team.
Did you say that because of WrestleMania this weekend?
Actually, yeah, my bunny.
Yeah. You guys know I'm a wrestler. Come on.
Yeah.
That's why I went woo.
Right. So there's a couple. Obviously, the arrow change. Now, what is it? The low rate concept.
Yes. The
Does the-
lower versus high rig.
Now, yeah. So many things are now stacked against Mercedes. We're gonna see how good of a team that is.
Yes.
I can't wait. This is gonna be a good season.
That's that.
Hey guys, this is Wellington from the Jump to Start Racing crew. Before we start, I want to make sure to tell you to destroy that like button and to make sure to hit subscribe to be up to date with our episodes and clips. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle on both platforms is @JumpTheStartF1. See you there.